It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot, ain't it? It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot, ain't it? It's getting hot in here. It's getting
Welcome to the Droppin Dimes podcast. I am Player Agent 3, along with my co-host, former 13-year NBA journeyman and self-proclaimed mercenary, Chucky Brown. And I got former NBA All-Star and New York City point guard, Mr. Kenny Anderson. What's going on, good brothers?
Everything is great, man. Happy to be on with you and Chuck, my man. My ex-teammate.
Yes, sir. My man.
Times.
Fun to be on with my man, dropping another dime.
Yep, definitely.
Hey, man. So, guys, let's jump into it, man. Let's talk about these NBA playoffs that are going on right now. And particularly, what I want to touch on is you got LeBron James, you got Steph Curry, you have Kevin Durant. All of those guys are sitting home. What does that say about the new NBA right now that those guys are at home right now and we have a new wave coming in the NBA playoffs?
Hey, I'll start first. Hey,
yeah,
the future looks bright. NBA got some talented young players. Anthony Edwards is a beast. You got him. You got Tatum, and with the Celtics. They and who else? The young studs is out there, East and West, playing extremely well.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's it just shows that it's a changing of the guard. You know what I mean? Like you got what's the kid in Oklahoma City, Shake Alexander.
Lost sound. Look. I can't hear him.
Ready, a lot of young studs there. They ready to take over. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's great for the league. You got the older guys, you got the LeBron James and the Steph Currys. There's only so long you get to play this game and be at the top.
Right. So who do you guys have right now winning the NBA Finals?
Well, I'm a Celtic guy. I'm gonna go with the Celtics. It's gonna be tough because Cleveland got a good team. They're gonna push us, but I think we'll get over it. And then out east is the Celtics, and then out west, I'm gonna stick with Minnesota. I'm gonna stick with Minnesota. West.
So
yeah.
So
I'm gonna go to
noticed,
Celtics.
What I've noticed in these NBA playoffs, you have guys like Doc Rivers, you have guys from the Phoenix Sun, the head coach that was just fired, Frank Vogel, and then you have the situations with the Los Angeles Lakers and Darvin Ham. What do you, as former players, what do you guys think about coaches, taking the fall for, things that go south, whether it's in the playoffs or regular season? Do you think, or do you feel like the coaches should take the brunt?
I'll let you go. You start that
off. All right. I'm gonna say, it looks like to me in the Phoenix Suns case. I'm a guy that more so likes to see I like to see the former players coaching. I don't know if it's a secret meeting going on saying like, look, we're not, they running the playing game. We ain't gonna let them run the coaching game too, because a lot of guys that haven't played, they're getting the opportunity to coach. But as far as the fall goes, I think it's got to go a little bit up top, because that's who puts the team together most of the time. Is like the GMs put the team together. So, in the Phoenix Suns case, I think it's a little premature to fire him after 1 year, because you just gave him this team. Yeah. You just gave him Bradley Beal. You just gave him Kevin Durant. You just gave him what's the kid from Kentucky? I can't think of his name right now. But y'all know he's talking Booker. But then you also got Eric Gordon. So, but the team that's put together, any basketball guy can tell you this. You got a lot of guys that do the same thing. A lot of guys that want the ball. You got to get a point guard in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that the point guards are undervalued. Guys that just distribute, they're undervalued now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a true point guard on that team. You can't make Devin Booker a point guard because you take away from what he really does well, which is score the ball. You can't make Bradley Beal a point guard because that's what he does, score the ball well. You can't make Eric Gordon a point guard because what he does is score the ball well. You can't make Kevin Durant a point forward because he's one of the more efficient scorers that I've seen, him and Carmelo Anthony. So you can't expect these guys to come in and win because you don't have all the pieces. Now, what they should have done, and I'm gonna let it rest. What they should have done is play little man with the left hand, Isaiah Thomas. He might could have helped you, but then you got to take, one of them other guys got to accept another role. They're not gonna have the same minutes, so you got to do what you got to do in a shorter minute span. So that's what they probably should have done. Now I'm gonna let that marinate and slide it to my man Kenny A.
Frank Vogel is my guy. He coached me with the Celtics, and I got love for him. So I think they excuse my French, they did some sucker shit. They did some sucker shit. They fired my guy after 1 year. After one year, that's unheard. That's the new NBA. And then you had 3 scorers, on the team. You need a point guard to facilitate to get those guys off, and that's where the problem came in. And then you got to tighten up defensive strategies and things of that nature that they really didn't have. They just had scorers, and that's not going to win in the NBA. And that's why it was tough. And Darren Ham, he's in another tough situation. What he was supposed to do, they did extremely well. They just went up against the defending champions, Denver Nuggets. It's just sad. That's where the game is going with the ownership and things of that nature. They want that fast winning right away, and it's not going to happen. It takes time, with the organizations about winning. At least give them 2-3 years. To see if you can change some things up. But it's just tough. And it's a lot of money being thrown at all these coaches in the NBA. So that's another thing that you got to look at, the money issue. So those guys, Frank Vogel won a championship with the Lakers, comes over to Phoenix for 1 year. I know he's a very good coach. He will get them guys going, but he didn't have enough time. I really believe Isaiah Thomas, by him coming over there, he could have helped them a great deal. They just didn't play him. And I don't know what's going on where all the other teams looking at him, he's not getting another shot. It's difficult.
Yeah. Now I'm a big proponent of player, the evolution of the game, player empowerment. But at this point, what do you guys think about the player in empowerment, and particularly, let's talk about LeBron James, the power that he has as a player in Los Angeles. What do you guys say to LeBron James was one of the reasons why Darvin Ham was let go?
I'll finish on this note, but LeBron James, he should become a player coach. That's going to be a first in the league. Back in the 60s, I think they was doing that. Player coach. And I think that'll work, better for the Los Angeles Lakers because they have one of the all-time greats, LeBron James. I think they should look into that for real. Bringing all these guys in and all that. Player coach would be great for them. What'd you think, Chuck?
Yeah, hey, I totally agree. And I'm gonna start with this. Probably the worst thing ever in society, and the best thing was the invention of the microwave oven and the air fryer. Because now everybody wants shit quick. You know what I'm saying? So that goes on. Now everybody wants shit quick now. You know what I'm saying? But now to expound on what Kenny said, I think Lenny Wilkins did it back in his day. He was a player coach. That wouldn't be, if you're trying to really change the game, and if LeBron James is really picking his own players, if I'm the GM, I'm going to say, you know what? But then if you do that, then what you need a GM for? So now Pelinka got to be careful with that one. Because now if he say, all right, man, you know what? Go ahead and pick your player. Now we ain't paying you 3.5 to what? Just sit there and look good with a nice tan? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that if they really want to innovate and change the game like they do, hey, why not explore that? That would be something. And you can listen to all the pundits give their, this is crazy, But if LeBron James is really picking the players, let's go be the player coaching. I'm with that.
Now, the general manager still could run the team.
Okay.
LeBron would run everything on the court.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So basketball practices, plays, putting everything in, that's what what he should be concerned. That's what they would have to sit down and get that figured out. I'm the general manager. I'll bring the players in, and then you coach them.
Yeah.
Sort of like
that. I'm with that. I think that and the Lakers, like you said, they're one of the most historic franchises. The Lakers and the Celtics, you know what I'm saying? Most historic franchise, most championships in the NBA. So I think that would be something, and it probably would be something that would become a trend, because the NBA is a copycat league, and they could be the first team to do something like that. So I like that idea. I never thought about that. That's a great idea right there.
Yeah.
And this is the last thing I'll say about that, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But if that were to happen, does that open up a can of worms?
Ooh, I mean, it may open up a can of worms, but it's kind of a high risk, high reward type of thing.
Yeah,
it'll open up a can of worms, because if it works, now everybody gonna do it.
If it works,
right.
If it works, but like you said, if it works, and here's the thing, Chucky and Kenny, everybody is not LeBron James.
So, see, you got a great point. And that's where you would have to bring in the players. It would have to be top-notch players. First of all, your cornerstone to your organization can only bring that up, or we'll have communications about that. Your cornerstone, your top players on your team, and I'm one or two players before we get into that. And you would have to make a ruling has to be put in place for the NBA to satisfy with that agreement. I really believe that.
So that's
anybody coaching and all that.
Right. And there are only a few players that that I could come right off the top that could have done it. Like, I think Magic could have done it.
Yes.
I think Jordan could have done it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think LeBron could do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think Kobe could have done it.
Kobe could have did it.
A lot of times when you watch these times, I think Jason Kidd could have did it when he played.
Yes,
you know what
he could have did it.
Like, you watch these guys when they go to the timeout, and you look at the huddle, and then sometimes you'll see them guys on there doing this, and they'll have the pen doing whatever. So those are the type of guys that probably could get away with doing it.
And then sometimes them great players, the coach execute, and they be like, forget that. We go out. You know that. They be, forget that. Just come to me, man. That's what Kobe Bryant used to do. And Michael Jordan and those guys. You know what I'm saying? They're not listening to that. So I would think you would have to lock it down as far as the players that can be coach players.
And that's definitely something to look out for in the future. So Adam Silver, if you watch Droppin Dimes podcast, you know where it came from.
Definitely.
That's right.
All right,
that's
guys,
right.
you
got to trademark that.
Let's move on to the next topic. And this is something here, man, that I've been scratching my head on ever since I've seen it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Is the disrespect of the 80s and 90s basketball players, man. You got these dudes out here saying that the guys that, I mean, you played against, Chucky, the guys you played against, Kenny, calling them milkman, mailman, and it's crazy the disrespect that these guys are saying about 80s and 90s basketball players. And I think I saw something where someone said that Michael Jordan couldn't go left. What do you guys say to the disrespect of those eras? I have my theory, being that, players today don't study, you know, the days of yesteryear, but you know, you guys were right there in the fire, man. So talk about this, man, and let's put this to rest.
Go ahead, Chuck. Let you start it off.
All right. All right. So, you know, first of all, I think that it's crazy to disrespect the eras before you because the game changes, you know, each and like the game when I played and when Kenny played, the game was played a little different before us. So, you know, like I have the utmost respect for, you know, guys like Dr. J, guys like Bobby Dandridge, Wes Unseld, because they basically, you know, they made a way for me to make a good living that they didn't, you know, I probably made more money than some of those guys, man, and they were better players than me.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the disrespect goes, you know, the rules have changed too. You know,
Yeah.
the NBA, like during, like I always think about the Mike Fratello era. Like games was like, and these are NBA games,
Yeah.
48 minutes, and you might have a score 75 to 72.
Yeah.
Because they playing D, they holding you, they beating you up, they ain't calling nothing. You know what I'm saying? You had to get in the weight room, and if you notice the body style, look at the body styles of the guys back then and the body styles of the guys now. You had a dude looking like Anthony Mason. You had a dude looking like Charles Oakley. You had a dude looking like Otis Thorpe. You don't have those type of bodies anymore, and we had those type of bodies because we had to get in the weight room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had to get your ass. If you didn't get your ass in the weight room, you wasn't going to the lane. Period. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the game has changed. So for them to disrespect that era is crazy because it was a different style of basketball. See, when we played, you push the ball up, you know, you try to get the ball across half court with 18 on the shot clock. You swing the ball side to side with 6 seconds left on the clock. You wanted to get a shot up.
Yep.
Now they got a 24-second shot clock. They trying to get a shot up with 20 on the clock, with 20 seconds on the shot clock. So now, you know, they get more attempts up than we got, so they score more now. They take more three-point shots than we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a time where, and I played against, not against, but with, you know, big men like Brad Daugherty, Keem Olajuwon, who else? David Robinson, Tim Duncan. So the first look was always inside. We played inside out. Now you could come down, you take a jump shot. Even if you made that shit, if you wasn't supposed to take that jump shot, your ass was coming out because the game was played inside out. Now everybody can shoot a jump shot now.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to jack them up now. So, I mean, it's a different, you know, the disrespect needs to really stop, and they need to look at how the game is played different. I never disrespect these young dudes because the game is played different. Now, I do think, like, I look at the game now and say, damn, if I was playing now, I could average about 12 to 15 points because everybody getting to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? If you pass it up to me, I'm on the wing, you pass it up to me, I'm looking at the shot clock and I'm thinking like, all right, coach want to get a shot up. Shit, I'm going to the rack with it. I ain't passing it. I'm going to get me a shot up. You know what I'm saying? So I just think the game is played different in that the disrespect, you know, whoever, the young guys need to stop disrespecting the older guys, and the older guys need not disrespect the younger guys. The game is played different.
Yeah, I think the young guys disrespect the game because they don't know it. They don't know the history, and that's what they got to do. You know, with this social media is ridiculous. You know, they don't know the players that came before them, and I was brought up into knowing the guys, you know, before me, and they set, you know, like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. Those guys set me up lovely to be the point guard in the NBA. So the league, it's a great league. You know, but it's a lot different because the lanes is wide open, the lanes is open, and they shooting a lot of threes. And and the game has gotten a lot softer when we played. You know, they had to change the rules because, you know, I'm like 170, 6'2", playing in our era. You know, I averaged 18. My all-star year was 18 and 9. I was second behind John Stockton in assists.
Right.
And it was crucial. It was physical. And I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Imagine my style of play in this era right now. I gotta say I'll average 25 and 10 easy. At least 7 more points. It's too easy, you know?
Right.
And the playoffs, it's too high scores, 100 and something and 90 in the playoffs. That's just mind-boggling to me. So the game has changed, the eras has changed, and it's still a great game, but we gotta understand about the errors, the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. It's about more 3-pointers, and that's it. You know how many 3-pointers you can get up. That's one thing that I get sick with the Celtics. They bomb out. They don't look at the game differently in the course of the game. That's when that they could be doing a lot better, but they chose to just shoot the 3. And that's the name of the game nowadays. Everybody want to be Steph Curry.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna add this too, Miguel. I'm gonna add this real quick. I mean, but also the scheduling has changed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Back when we was playing 4 games in 5 nights sometimes, and now they're trying to get rid of the back-to-backs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Kenny, I know you remember this. Remember when they had the strike season? They made us play 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, that was bananas. That was bananas.
So they're taking all of that out of the game, and with that being said, and they making more money. So you know what I'm saying? Like the rigors, the NBA was far more rigorous. It's still rigorous and still physical, but it was far more rigorous and physical years ago. Now you got the corporations in it, and these people ain't paying no money to see no 75, 72 game. They want to see points scored. That's what they want to see. So there you have it. So I mean, the disrespect needs to stop. Stop it.
Definitely. Both ways.
Let
everybody live.
Yep.
Does this, Chucky and Kenny, does this hurt the NBA, being that guys like JJ Redick make comments like the NBA was watered down when Jordan, the NBA was watered down when Jordan was playing. I think he said that they, the 6 expansion teams were added to the NBA. So it was about 90 players he was saying, when I think it was only 12 players per team.
Yeah, a lot of these young guys, man, they don't know. They don't do their history. And I just get tired of listening to them. I don't even listen to them, man, about all of that nonsense about Michael Jordan, our time in the league. I know it was tougher. Believe it or not, it was tougher. It's tougher. The East we beat up the West. The West ain't have nothing on the East back then. But all these guys even before us, the 70s and 80s was a little more rugged, a little more tougher. It was tougher.
Yes.
And now these guys, man, in the league now, come on, man. Come on. You can't touch these guys. You touch these guys, they on the foul line. It just, just hearing a lot of these guys now on social media and all that played in the league. I played in the league for 14 years. You can't say nothing about it. You know what I mean? I know how I was playing. You know what I'm saying? So all that, I'll be like, all right, whatever. I know it's the social media. I want to gravitate to this, that, and the other. Oh, he must know something. Let me listen to that. But some of these guys just lost their mind, man, with some of the things they talk about. They don't know the league. They don't know about the guys shoot. JJ Redick shot the ball, the threes and all that. Okay. And when we played, Chuck, you know how physical it was.
Yeah, he had a hard time getting that 3 off.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If they know that's your game, scouting reports, we'd be like, okay, he shoot the 3. We got to do this, do that. They're gonna shut him down. They're gonna shut him down. So yes, they're quicker. They're more talented, maybe, but the league was much different, much stronger. I believe, much stronger.
So since this is our first podcast, I'm not gonna go at JJ Redick. I'm not gonna go at him yet. Once we get up here, JJ, I'm coming for you. But anyway, for him to say that it was watered down and all of this and all of that, I think it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
To say that, and I don't think it's gonna hurt the NBA because he's speaking great about the players that are going now.
Yes.
So that's not going to hurt the NBA. It would hurt the NBA if he was constantly shooting down the dudes that are going at it now. He's constantly shooting Tatum down. He's shooting Brown down. He's shooting Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That would hurt the NBA. So that don't hurt the NBA to talk bad about the players in the past because we're going. We're going. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, I'm going to expound on another point too. Like our practices. You know what I'm saying? When we came in for 2 days, you had 7 days or 2 days physical practice, getting taped for shoot-arounds. You got taped because practice was physical in training camp. Now, when I was working with the Lakers back in 2008, and they had a 2-a-day, right? So one of the 2-a-days, a film session was a practice. I'm like, where we do that at? And then the evening was a little physical. Then the next day they had 1 practice. So they went 2, 1, 2, but one of the 2 practices was a video session. Nah, bro, don't even give me that. You know what I'm saying? My shoulder hurting today. My finger, I can't raise my pinky all the way today from all of that physical stuff. So, JJ Redick, I'm coming for you when we get bigger. So you better try to stop us.
And he ain't the only one. So it's a couple of other names. We taking names. We taking names. We taking names for all these guys out here disrespecting the guys from the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let me say, if I can chime in for a second. I'm not sure how much memory I got on my computer. So can we move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
We're about to move to the next topic. Let's move to the next topic. Let's talk about the college transfer portal. This thing has been really big over the past couple of years. I don't even know how many kids are in this portal every year. What do you guys think about the college transfer portal, being that when you guys played, man, that to me, that was the best era, especially, you know, Kenny, when you played for Coach Crimmins at Georgia Tech, and Chucky, you played for Coach Valvano at NC State. Talk about this college transfer portal.
Yeah, this portal is getting madness. So these guys, it was funny to me, these guys play. Some guys go to college, like 4 different colleges, 4 different years. That's crazy. You know, to try to figure out, you know, which team they're gonna better themselves. I would just say, man, they should just concentrate on going to one school and fitting in and getting it right, you know, and not, you know, crying and moving on to the next, you know, team and all of that. That's the difference and that's the whole game of basketball. It's making it real soft. You're making it real soft for these college players to move on so easy, and that's got to stop. But I don't know if it will, because the money is all over the place. So the NIL deals is crazy. So and with the NIL deals, I believe they should form an account for these players. They shouldn't get their money right up. They should have an account, and they're going through, you know, college. They go to the account, they get the money for what they're going to use for that month. So if they don't make it, you know, they can come back to that money, you know, because a lot of kids are not going to make the NBA, the NFL. It's really a trying time right now for athletes. It's crazy, all over the place.
Yeah, I think the portal, you know, it's crazy because like, and it's just turned into like free agency because it's changed so much. Because when we came out, you got a 4-year scholarship. So the scholarships change from year to year. So now, if a player, I mean, you can look at it one way, like you can look at it like, you know, dudes be going, if they don't like it, they're gonna quit and go somewhere else. Or if a player get mad and the coach don't like what he say, he gonna go somewhere else. You know, but it's again goes back to the invention of the microwave. We want it now. They want it now. So, and if they don't get it now, they're going to go somewhere else and get it now, or think they're going to get it now. And what they got to realize is the grass is not always greener on the other side. You know, some things take a little time and take a little work and take a little competing. Because we used to come to practice. I remember I come to practice and I got other McDonald's All-Americans in there. So I got to compete for time. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, things have changed, and I think it's really hurt the college basketball more than anything, because now, I mean, and I understand, like people say, like a coach could leave a school and go right away to coach. He don't have to sit out a year. That used to be the argument. And now players can do the same thing, but they're going to have to put a cap on how many times you can leave schools. Like, because Kenny said, a dude going to 4 schools in 4 years, like, come on, bro. Like, you going to settle down anywhere? Like, come on, man. So, yeah, they got to put a cap on. They got to find a way to get some rules and say, all right, well, you can't transfer no more than 2 times. The next time you got to stay put, bro.
See, when we went to another school, we had to sit out. You remember that? We had to sit out.
Had to sit out a year.
Play right away. So that's crazy. That's crazy.
Does and staying on that same theme of college basketball players, does the NIL, do you guys think that it hurts the hunger of these guys, wanting to get to the next level, wanting to show and prove, wanting to be that guy? But now you got dudes driving on campus in Maybachs and trucks. Like, well, I mean, where's the drive now? Like, what are you shooting for? You already driving a Maybach on campus. You
losing it. I believe the drive is lost. They with the jury, the cars, you just hanging out. It causes a lot of problem with the team, because what about your other guys on the team? You might have 2, 3 guys getting, and then the other guys looking at him like, I ain't getting no Maybach. I ain't even coach. The dissension among your teammates, things like that. So it's really difficult times in sports and in athletics. You gotta be very, very wise, So it's different. And the coaching is different also. Coaches and all that. It's a tough game. Go ahead, Chuck.
It definitely depends. It definitely depends on the guy. Because I looked at the one kid from Alabama, the quarterback.
Yeah.
He came in. He got drafted by the Panthers. I forget his name, but he came in and he won the Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
And he came back and still put up those numbers while getting the NIL money. So I think that his drive, never changed. But that's not everybody.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like Kenny said, some of these dudes, they driving Maybachs on campus. They got all the gold. They got all the college girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they're satisfied with that, then so be it. But if you can make it, you make it big in college, right? So then you go to the pros and make it. You might get some models now. You might be able to go to Italy now. So it depends on what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely, I think it's definitely hurt the college game. And like Kenny said, that I never thought about this, but the dissension on the team, like some of them dudes might look at you sideways, like, yo, man, I got a block for this dude, and he driving a Maybach, and I got a Pinto. I mean, I ain't blocking for it. Yo, wait till we play USC. I'm gonna let number 95.
I got a Ford Mustang. Not bad, Ford Mustang.
You know what I'm saying? Yo,
he still might be.
So so you never know, man. So I think it's hurting. So you gotta really investigate guys' character. You know, so you really have to do your homework. You really got to do your homework.
Yep.
Character.
Guys, I want to touch on this one last point before we move to the last topic. Is it fair for coaches on the college ranks, let's say Calipari, Rick Pitino, to be making $10+ million a year?
I'm gonna say I'm a Division II coach, right?
Yeah.
So I make probably 75, 80,000. I have no NIL money, so I don't make enough money to put up with no bullshit. All right. So if you making $10 million, it's fair, because you got to put up with a lot of bullshit, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I got to deal with all this bullshit. Right. Okay, bet. So y'all gonna pay me $10 million? Okay, bet. I'll deal with these dudes now, because I'm getting paid to also not only the coach, but to deal with all this nonsense. So it's fair. But if you're at an HBCU like I am, and you making 80,000, and you come in with some bullshit, I'm like, yo, you better get out my face. I ain't trying to hear.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. I coached at Fisk University, HBCU. I'm making 80,000. Free. I have free room and board though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with Chuck on that. With more money, more is expected of you. More expected of you.
Right.
$10 million, you got to run the whole glam. You got to run it, and it's tough right now in college basketball. Really tough. year to
Right.
year to get these players to compete on your level, what you're trying to get across to them. Because, and then you got the fathers and the mothers, kids want minutes, kids not playing, they coming in, they trying to mess with the coaches. You can't do that. You got to let them run their tight shift. That's what they running. And stay out of it. That's how back in the days, my mother stayed away from it. You over there, you over there. That was it. She just wanted to see me being taken care of. Good, good eating and good education, and that's it. That other basketball stuff, my mentor dealt with some of that stuff. But nowadays the parents is going getting out of hand.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys. Last topic. I want to touch on this. Get you guys' opinion, well, not opinion, just talk about. And I'll start with you, Kenny. What was it like to play at Georgia Tech as a young kid out of New York City? Talk about the good and talk about the bad, if there were any bad situations you had at Georgia Tech.
It wasn't really. I'm gonna say it wasn't no bad at all. It was, I went there 2 years. I loved it in Atlanta. I love playing for Georgia Tech. I love playing for Bobby Crimmins, Lethal Weapon 3. My good friend Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, Malcolm Mackey was there. Johnny McNeil, Carl Brown. We went to the Final Four, 1990. So Georgia Tech was awesome, man. We was like a family, and we still stay in touch to this day, all of us. So I never. This is. I never had a bad time. A bad day going to Georgia Tech. It was just a great experience that I went through in my life going to college, and I loved it. And honestly, I tell you, I wanted to leave my junior year. But Coach Crimmins said, you get out of here, because I think the bigs, they was really big with, I think Shaquille Alonzo was coming in the following year. He was like, get out of here, you go top 3. You go top 3. And he was right on point. I went to New Jersey Nets at 2. So he was right on point. I had to leave when I left. But I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay at least one more year. And then, my coach, Travis Best, he was recruiting Travis Best, so he wanted me out of the way. He wanted me out of the way. And I understood that. But yeah, I had a great time at Georgia Tech, and I love it.
Being the guy that you were coming out of high school, parade All-American, and going to Georgia Tech, and the expectations that were placed upon you, being under that microscope, that didn't create stress for you to deliver the goods at Georgia Tech.
No, it was just pressure. I dealt with that my whole life. I dealt with that with I'll tell you a quick story. My junior year in high school was the best high school player. I had all my tests. I passed all my tests as junior year and all that. And we got evicted that year. We got evicted from our apartment where we lived in. And I had to stay with my cousin, and my mother saw me every morning. So it was just one of them. I was strong-minded. I never let my friends, hang out with bad people. I just focused on making it. I wanted to make it for myself and my mother, get my mother out of the ghetto. And that's what happened. That's what I did. But being evicted, at a young age, and seeing my furniture on the street corner. I was having one of my best years in high school, basketball and school-wise. Wow. So it was tough. But I held forward, and I did it. My mother did it. We got a new apartment and everything. So it was all well, man. It was well.
Chucky B, Coach Jim Valvano.
Yeah.
Legend. NC State University. I can name Cozell McQueen, Derek Wittenberg, Sidney Lowe.
Okay.
Cardiac Pack. What was it like for you going to NC State, man, and just putting on that Wolfpack uniform and playing in Reynolds Coliseum?
It was great. I just wanted to add on something that Kenny said. Like he said, he didn't let, like back in the day when we were coming up, like dudes that was doing the street stuff.
Yeah.
Like they knew that we wasn't those type of dudes, so they made sure we didn't get in it. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like in today's society, like the street dudes, they sort of they trying to like be in there with those type of dudes. And we, you know, we were fortunate that we didn't have guys that we had guys like, you know, big bros. Like I got guys that I call my big bro that made sure like, yo, Chucky, you ain't built for this. Get your little ass up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So so that was great. But my time at NC State was great. You know, like Wittenberg, Thurl, Sid,
Ernie
Coach
Myers,
Elmer
man. Don't forget
Queen,
Ernie Myers,
Ernie
baby.
Myers,
New York.
E
Ernie Myers.
Boogie, E
Yeah.
Boogie. So those guys, and Ernie was a reason why also that I came to NC State too, because you know, like I had just moved down to North Carolina from New York. So Ernie's uncle drove the bus. My father drove the bus from on 146th Street bus station.
Wow.
So I rode the bus every day. And Ernie's uncle drove with my father and used to come over to my house all the time.
Wow.
So when I got down here, and you know, I immediately went to like the New York dudes. Lorenzo Charles was from Brooklyn. You know, Ernie was from New York. Tavian Benz was from the Bronx. So that's what I gravitated to. So you know, and they made me feel good, and it was just, you know, I can't say, like, probably the worst time that I had there was probably my sophomore year. This was right before the ACC tournament, and it was one of the coaches who, you know, Coach V had gone on a trip somewhere. So you know, we one of the assistant coaches had taken over. So you know, it was like the substitute teacher. So we in there acting a fool. So and he didn't want to have it. so you know, and it was like that was probably the worst time. Like it was right before the AC tournament too, and we going back and forth. So that was probably my worst time that I had there, where it was like it almost got turned into something physical. And then we went on to win the ACC tournament, you know. But like throughout my 4 years, I mean, I met, you know, like Kenny said, you meet these guys, man, and you have lifelong friendships. You know, Charles Shackelford was my roommate. Lorenzo Charles used to come over my house all the time. I still speak to Cozell McQueen. I talk to Ernie a lot. I talk to Witt, you know, and I didn't even play with Witt. But it's lifelong friendships with these guys, and it's just great. And I thought the NC State was great for me. And with Valvano also being from New York, that was just the icing on the cake for me. So I didn't want to hear anything. So soon as it was time for me to commit, that's where I was going. I'm like, yo, I'm going, you know, I felt comfortable there because I was around, you know, New York City guys, and you know, the whole staff was from New York, Long Island, Queens. You know, I'm from Harlem, Manhattan. So you know, like I said, Ernie was from Spanish Harlem. So it was like we had a lot of things in common and knew a lot of the same people. So it was just a great time for me at NC State.
Hey, Chucky, what you want to talk about? You've told me before, you wish you had redshirted your freshman year, which is kind of unusual.
Right. Yeah, I came in young. So I was probably the second youngest player to ever play in the ACC behind Brad Dorton. So I came in young, and like my freshman year, I didn't really play a whole lot. I probably got about 5-6 minutes a game. And I do, you know, looking back on it, because I didn't really start getting them heavy minutes till my sophomore year. Yeah. Right. And I still like ended up like top 20 all-time scoring. I'm top 5 or top 4, might be the third all-time field goal percentage, rebounding and all that. And those stats could have been a lot higher had I redshirted my freshman year. But, you know, I was just like anybody else as a freshman. I wanted to play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming out with all these accolades. I'm Mr. Basketball. I'm like, when I get to the campus, I'm like, all right, who won it? You know what I'm saying? And these are grown men. These are grown dudes, and they're like, "Oh, you want something? We're gonna give you some." So it was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but you know, I still stuck it out. But yeah, I look back on that and I say, you know what? If I'd have redshirted my freshman year, you know, I played 13 in the NBA. I probably could have got more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm happy. You know, with my NBA career, 12 teams, 13 years, set a record and all that. I'm happy with all that. That probably wouldn't have happened if I'd have played. You know, I probably could have been a higher draft pick and all that stuff. But you know, I'm happy with how things turned out. But yeah, I could have probably redshirted my freshman year and got some more time. You know, because like I said, the heavy minutes didn't come to the next year.
Wow. Hey, Chucky, your hero though was James Worthy, I think, back in the day. How'd you wind up at State, not at Carolina?
Just the whole New York City element. You know what I'm saying? Like moving down here, as a sophomore from New York, I went to Cardinal Hayes. Jimmy Black went to Cardinal Hayes. So during the NCAA championship, I'm pulling for Carolina and Jimmy Black. I'm seeing James Worthy with all the Statue of Liberty stuff. I'm like, yo, I'm wearing 52. That's my dude right there. So I fell in love with James Worthy then, and I just ended up. I just didn't meet Kenny Smith when I came down. If I'd met Kenny first, I probably would have went to Carolina because Kenny's a New York dude too.
Yeah.
So I just happened to. I knew Ernie, Tavian, Lorenzo, and V was from New York. So that's why I ended up over at NC State.
Wow.
My guys, Kenny Anderson, Chucky Brown, I appreciate you guys, man. Stay tuned for Droppin Dimes podcast.
Yo, we there? Hello.
Got some more coming for you. You guys have anything to say before we sign out?
No, I just want to keep dropping dimes, baby. Keep getting that information out. With my man Chucky B. I love playing with him when we played with the New Jersey Nets. Peace, my man.
Hey, no doubt we're going to continue to drop these dimes. My favorite play of my NBA career, one of my favorite plays, we playing the Clippers. Kenny comes through the lane, goes up, dropped it off to me, bam, dunked that baby. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. They showed it.
One of my favorite plays. Yes, yeah, one of my favorite plays. So we're going to keep doing it, man. So y'all keep tuning in and keep listening. This is where the real stuff going to be.
Yep, no doubt.
All right. Appreciate you guys, man. Until the next time, Droppin Dimes podcast. Kenny Anderson, Chucky Brown, and Player Agent 3. Let's go.